No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with a legend, somebody who's played a huge role in one of the biggest rap movements of the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
DGainz in the building.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I would say the biggest rap movement of all time. Yeah.
I mean, because when you look at Chicago in 2011, 2012, whatever, a lot of the biggest shit that's still coming out to this day really kind of links its way all back to the early days of drill.
Yeah, it's still like super heavily influenced by what we did out there in Chicago.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your upbringing, though, before you even got into all this. What was your life like as a young man?
Like, I ain't gonna lie, it was like pretty tough growing up in Chicago. You know what I mean? You know, I grew up on the South Side, poverty, low end projects. You know, figuring it out. I dropped out of school like super early, like
What age?
like 14. You know what I mean?
Because you were in the streets, or what were you into?
Nah, I never was in the streets. Like,
Okay.
I feel like I tried to get in the streets, but it never worked out. I think I was a little too square for the streets, you know. But I don't know. School just wasn't for me. I don't even remember ever doing any work. Like, but I used to pass. I don't know what that's about. But I don't know. My mind was just always somewhere else, like into the arts, and you know, instead of doing work, I'll be drawing and
Really?
just like daydreaming, like somewhere else. I don't even remember no school work, like for real.
So you were just like a real creative type?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff were you into young?
Like comics, Marvel, and you know, stuff like that. Like always into like the science fiction, you
Right.
know. But I was like heavily into music as a kid too. You know, being around my grandmother and having access to like so much music. You know, she used to have like hundreds of CDs. So every day I'm listening to like Barry White, then I'm listening to Crisscross, then I'm listening to Britney Spears.
Crisscross was huge for me.
Yeah.
That was huge.
So
You wear your pants backwards?
maybe, I don't know.
I did. A couple times. I tried at least. My parents weren't really feeling it, but
Yeah.
because that was their thing. For people who don't understand that, they wore their clothes all backwards.
Yeah, so yeah, I used to be bumping the Crisscross, MC Hammer,
Right.
all that stuff like that. Yeah,
Good era. Yeah. MC Hammer was one of my first artists as well. But okay, like, so you're just kind of obsessed with music and all this stuff, and you dropped out of school, what, just because you were busy being creative, doing shit in your room, you just didn't fuck with school?
you know what it was like. Like I grew up in the projects, and I remember like liking school. Then I had all my friends. We were all like in the same grades since like kindergarten. So I grew up with like the same kids, and once they started tearing down the buildings I grew up in, the Robert Taylor homes, we had to move on to the blocks, and it was just like a completely different world. Like the kids were different, and I went to a new school, and it was a new environment. I feel like it kind of like took a toll on me, and I just didn't want to be
Really?
around those kids.
What was it? It was more violent and more aggressive?
Yeah. I really feel like it felt like Lean on Me.
Yeah.
Like the movie, like in 7th and 8th grade, it was terrible, man. Like you couldn't even go in the bathroom because you would get beat up. So I used to just hold my piss every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There wasn't like one safe bathroom?
Nah, not the bathroom we went to. Like
Right.
it was food fights every day. I remember them like throwing mop buckets and busting out the lights in the lunchroom. Like it was crazy.
And so are you hearing about like gang shit and everything like that, or is that just something you found out about later?
Yeah, I feel like I've been hearing about it since I was a kid, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? Because I never like got into that world. So I would see it around me. I had family that's all in gangs and stuff like that, but just never. I don't know. It never made sense to me, so I didn't never get into it. You know.
When did you pick up a camera?
Well, my like first official camera was like in 2010. Like,
Okay.
but I was already like shooting with other cameras, like handy cams and cell phones and stuff like that. Probably like when I was like around 18.
Were you fucking around YouTube, or were you just filming
This
stuff?
was before YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this was MySpace.
Right.
We was like uploading videos to MySpace, you know. So Yeah, that's how I got into it. Like my first video was like shot on a cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about shooting rap videos from the beginning, or when did that idea kind of hit your?
Nah, it was like I was doing music.
Okay.
I was producing music. I was engineering, and I knew how to do music videos from watching them so much and making the video and access granted. So I never had any intentions on actually shooting music videos. I always wanted to do music, you know. But you know, it was just like we was having fun. We would make a song, I make a beat, record it, make the song. It's like, all right, yeah, let's shoot a video. And it just became a consistent thing. And then people on the outside looking in started seeing what I was doing for myself and like the people around me, and they wanted it, you know.
Right. And so who was around you? Like when, because we think of you as like getting started with Chief Keef,
Yeah.
but did you do anything with artists or significant before that?
Yeah, so before I even was known for doing music videos, I had an in-house studio where I was producing for artists and engineering. So I already was building up my name like that, you know, through Inglewood, because my uncle, he went to the same school as like Lil Durk, which was Robeson, like Famous Dex and all of them. So he would take my beats to school.
Wow.
And the artists would want to work with me off of the beats. You know, that was like 2008. And then that's actually how I ended up meeting Lil Durk. So I met Durk like in 2009 when he was like 15, 16.
Wow. And he was already making music?
Yeah. His name was like Yada Man back then.
Okay.
Yeah, first day I met him, he like slept on my studio floor.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you think he had talent at the time?
Yeah. He had like a real like light voice, but the artist who came with him was an artist named Bougie who brought Lil Durk to my crib. So I was more focused on that artist. You know what I mean?
And the word drill definitely didn't exist yet at this time?
It didn't exist. I didn't hear the word drill until I started working with or it being used the way it was being used until I started working with King Louie in 2011. So that's who I say coined the phrase like Chirac drill noise. I never heard that term until I worked with King Louie. Yeah.
But meeting Lil Durk at that time, like, did anything stand out to you about him in terms of, you know, we've just seen him to be so insanely popular, enduringly popular over the years?
Nah. At that time, we only had did like one song. He was like on a hook to a song or something like that. But he ended up coming back like a couple months later and recording a record with me. And then I started working with my brothers after that, which was the Buck 20 Brick Boys.
Okay.
It was F. Dot, Chopper, and Billionaire Black and Jay Chris. I met like Lil Durk and Billionaire Black like in the same year.
Right.
And I started working with them, like producing all their music, engineering, designing the album art. That's actually how I started building a real buzz, like through the internet and YouTube with what I did with them. And then I ran back into Lil Durk at the end of 2010. That was actually the same night I met Young Chop. So it was like all a movie and just everything falling into place.
But it probably didn't seem like that big a deal at the time.
Yeah,
it's just all these people ended up being really important.
Yeah. So I ran into Lil Durk at I was shooting a video for a song with Young Chop on it. And Durk was at the party and he was like, man, we gotta get back in tune. I hadn't seen him in like maybe a year. And after that he hit me up on Facebook like, let's work. He like, how much you gonna charge me? I'm like, $250. And then I don't know, it just some in me was like, man, I don't know, I think he probably got something. And I hit him back up like, man, I won't even charge you, bro. Let's just go.
So was your mentality at the time like, I'm gonna learn to do as many different things for an artist so that I could maybe like shoot their video, design their cover art, produce their song? Like you were just like, fuck, I'll take any possible way I can to get money?
Nah. Everything I learned how to do was actually for myself.
Right.
Like when I started making beats, I made beats for myself because I was looking at Kanye and I was like, I want to do that. So me learning how to do videos, that just was a given. That just happened. But everything I learned how to do was for me.
Right.
And then I just gave it to the world, you know.
Do you feel like you got like a hustler's spirit, so you were going to figure out how to make money in a million different ways regardless?
I feel like I got a creative spirit, and I just so happen to make money off of being creative. Right. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did you meet Sosa? When did that happen?
I met Sosa he was hitting me up on Facebook like after I started working with Durk. He hit me up a few times. I didn't know who he was. And then he ended up dropping a video with DJ Ken, which was the first time I ever seen a Chief Keef video. It was In This Bitch with him and Lil Reese.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, this dude has been hitting me up. Like, he kind of dope.
Right.
And I ended up going to DJ Ken's studio with Lil Durk one day. And I pulled up and Keef was outside. And we just, like, chopped it up for a second. And I don't know, I just felt the energy. And he was like, man, you want to work on something? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
You felt like he was a star?
Yeah, he had some. It was something about him, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I remember him. He's just like talking to me like with his eyes closed. It's like,
yeah.
It is crazy because back then I thought he was older than what he was because he was taller than me.
Because he was like 15, probably 14.
Yeah,
right?
he was like, I thought he was like 19, 20. But then I found out from Sasha Go Hard, like, he was 15.
Right.
But I didn't know that until after the first video I did for him. Like, the first video I did was Bang. And I remember, I didn't charge him or anything. I texted him like, hey, you can't pick me up? Like, I'm doing a free video. You could at least give me a ride. And he was like, oh, I can't drive. I'm a youngin'. Like, what does that mean? You feel me? It is. So I literally caught the bus to go shoot his first music video.
Right.
Yeah.
And did he stand out to you as like maybe more dangerous than the average rapper at the time? Because he had this whole crazy ass case at the time and everything.
No,
right?
he didn't have that case.
Oh, okay.
Yet. Yeah, that didn't happen till months later. I shot Bang in August. The stuff with the case didn't happen till like November.
But are you regarding dudes like him and Durk as like, crazy ass young gang members, or they just seem like rappers?
Man, it was cool. Like, me and Durk had a real tight relationship because we got like mutual, like actual family.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like cousins that is related. So me and Durk were like super tight at the time. So like I was cool. Like, I feel like I never been in danger around none of these people. You feel me? And I don't know if that's like God, but I ain't never went through like no super crazy situations with them, and I never seen no wild side to any of these people. I ain't saying it don't exist, but it didn't happen around me. Maybe I wasn't around enough,
Right. So when you first start shooting with Sosa, is he trying to like kind of claim you as his videographer at all, or is it just like one and done? Or did you keep working after that?
I feel like at first for me it felt kind of like a one and done because I didn't even recognize what was really happening because I was dealing with so much at the time, like in my personal life, and on top of that, I'm working with King Louie and Durk too, and a bunch of other artists, but Louie and Durk were really going up, you feel me? Because I did like the I'm a Hitter with Lil Durk, which I produced that one too, and I produced the King Louie Money Dance. You know what I'm saying? So those records were going up, so I'm paying attention to the stuff that I actually had a real hand in, but not really paying attention like Keef video is surpassing everybody. You feel me? Because the Bang video did like 400K in a month, and I never had did those type of numbers that fast and that many numbers on a single video.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when Keef came out, I mean, there was just such an unbelievable amount of energy around him. Like, there was a lot of energy around Chicago and the city and a lot of different artists who were coming out of there, but the Chief Keef energy was kind of a different level, right?
Yeah, it happened fast too.
Right.
Like, we did Bang, and I ain't talked to him for a couple months, and then I remember he dropped John Madden with Ken, and his confidence was just different. But I knew something was going on. I was shooting a video with Sasha, and Keef showed up. It was like an older woman walked up and was like, "I know who you are. You made that Bang song." And I'm looking like I don't.
You shooting your shot with a 16-year-old lady.
Yeah, she asked me like rap the lyrics and stuff.
I bet a lot of grown ass women went to the dark side with him and fucking took that young child under their arm and guided him into adulthood real quick.
Yeah, Keef was getting it in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was happening really fast. Like when it came to the case, I had hit Keef up to shoot another video after he dropped John Madden. I reached out to him like, let's work again. And we did the Aimed at You video. And the same week that I dropped that video, I get a call randomly like, man, somebody the police just killed Chief Keef. I was like, what? I called the manager. And
Who, Pan?
Nah, it was Dro at the time.
Okay.
I called Dro because I linked Dro and Keef together, and called Dro like, man, they said the police just killed Keef, and he was like, what? And he called me back. It was like, no, they just shot at him. He's in custody. I'm like, oh, but then the internet was going crazy, and I remember he got locked up. I went to like 2 of his court cases and whatever, and then they locked him up for like a month. Then he gets out like January, and then that's when the video hit World Star with the little kid like, Chief Keef is out of prison. And then when that hit World Star, I knew it was like about to go up at that point, you know.
Right. And I mean, you're getting to put all these videos on your channel,
Yeah.
which must have been sick as fuck. Because now, these days, artists, I mean, a really small artist might go to you and be like, yeah, put it in your channel because I need the promotion. But like, as soon as artists get bigger, they don't even want their videos on World Star anymore. They want their shit on their own channel. But back then, nobody really knew what the fuck was going on. So you're getting to put all these classic videos on your channel.
They wanted it on my channel. Like, they was asking for that, you know, because I was already building a buzz before I even was doing all the Keef on videos. I already was making a name for myself. Like most artists that I worked with back then, they reached out to me from what I was already doing, you know?
Right, definitely. So at any point in this, did you start like, you kind of become part of any particular clique, or did you always want to be independent and be able to shoot videos for whoever?
Yeah, I always wanted to be independent.
Right.
I feel like I had close relationships with certain artists, but I wanted to work with everybody, bro. Like I never was in a gang, I never was in the streets or none of that. So I never wanted to click up with anybody. Like I feel like I had a few instances where people was like, man, just roll with us. And I'm like, I want to work with everybody. Like I want to put the whole city on. That was the whole like plan from the get go.
And did it seem really territorial at that time, where like, you know, obviously there's rappers from different gangs and shit, and the idea of them sort of claiming a video director kind of makes sense to me, that they probably would not want you to be fucking with their ops as well, right?
I feel like at the time, a lot of the people I was working with were homies. Like when I met King Louie for the first time, Durk went with me to the video shoot. You know, like the first video I did for Louie, Durk is in it. You know, Keef is in. I mean, Durk is in the first Keef video I did. You feel me? So I don't think I really experienced that, but like I did have a few instances where like I would get like death threats, but mainly because I wouldn't shoot people's videos. Like people would threaten me.
Just because they were whack, or because they were ops of people that you were cool with?
Just because I didn't like the music. Like I was real like picky back then. Like if I don't like it, I'm not shooting.
But at that time, like with you being close with Chief Keef, if you had shot a video with somebody who was, you know, basically saying fuck Chief Keef, even not in that song, but just like in other songs, Chief Keef wouldn't have hit you up and been like, bro, you can't be fucking with them.
But I feel like it wasn't that hectic back then. That wasn't.
Yeah, because it kind of took a while to blossom into that, right?
I feel like that didn't. The heavy dissing didn't happen, in my opinion, to like all the Lil Jojo stuff started happening. That was 2 years later. Yeah. So at that point, everything was already gone. So I didn't really have to endure a lot of that. Like it was some people that didn't like each other, but it wasn't. Like, if you look at all my stuff, I wasn't shooting like diss videos and stuff like that.
Did you always try to avoid that?
Yeah. I didn't even really want to put the guns in it. I have a whole version of Aimed at You with Chief Keef that we reshot the video because it had guns in it. And I was like, man, bro, let's redo it. I don't want to put this out.
Because he was done with putting guns in the video pretty early, right? They did it a little bit early on, and then they stopped by the time. Like, even Love Sosa doesn't have guns in it, right?
Yeah, but I don't even think it was like I don't think it was like on purpose. I think it just wasn't like a thing. Like, it wasn't nothing we was really focused on, you know, like putting guns in it, you know?
Right.
It just kind of happened like that way.
Were you like filming videos in O Block and in all these places and like?
No, I never been in O Block. I only been in O Block like twice.
Okay.
I never.
But you never shot video there?
Nah, I never filmed a video in O Block.
Okay.
O Block before.
Right.
Yeah, all the videos I did with Keef, I don't think they were like ever in like the neighborhoods he grew up in.
Yeah, that's true.
Know? It was like at his grandma's house, we did a video.
Yeah, because he was on house arrest. Because that was one of the main memes when you were talking about Keef in the early days. It would be like he has to shoot all his videos in his grandma's house because he's on house arrest. We thought that was so crazy.
No, the only one that I did for him when he was on house arrest was Every Day.
Okay.
That was the only one he was on house arrest. Every other video, like he was on home confinement when we did I Don't Like. So like the next day he got put on house arrest after I Don't Like because he wasn't supposed to be where he was shooting the video.
Right.
So yeah.
When you look at yourself as a videographer at that time, what is your honest opinion of your ability to put together a good music video at that time, looking back on it now?
I think most of it was my editing. Like the pacing of like my edits, it was making a whole lot look better than, I'm not saying it didn't look good, but my editing really worked in my favor, you know. And I think what it was real. See, nowadays I feel like it's harder if I was to do it again or try to do it again, because I feel like a lot of the artists are trying to emulate that era. And when we did that, it wasn't a thought. It was just like, I feel like everybody was confident and knew we had something. I don't know if we knew exactly how big it was, what we were doing, but it was organic. It wasn't, I feel like that's why it worked out. It was just like, it was real. You know, that's what I look at it back then. Like I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations that didn't turn out to be dangerous for me, but
like what stands out to you as a
just being like Chicago, you can't really just be on blocks like that.
Right.
Like you get caught in a crossfire. Like I've had a video shoot get shot up before.
Really?
And yeah, the video never came out, but
where were you shooting? Just out on the street?
yeah, I was in like Killerwood, and we was out at nighttime and just started hearing hella gunshots. Like, and I got the footage still, and you just see the camera go down and me ducking. And
Right.
I'm like,
Did anybody get hit?
Nah. I don't even know if they were shooting at us or they were shooting in the sky. I don't know what was happening.
Really?
But yeah, I feel like that was probably the most dangerous thing that ever happened at a video. Other than that, everything probably went like pretty good, you know.
Right. That is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be in. I was always out there by myself. I didn't never have security. I didn't have a crew. Like all those videos are all me.
You had it on you?
Nah, I ain't never owned a gun before. I just shot a gun for the first time last year in the desert in Arizona. Wow. Like I ain't never sold drugs, nothing.
I interviewed 16 Shot 'em Visuals, who does a lot of interviews now, and he used to shoot music videos and shit. And he said that he got a gun case while shooting a video, I believe.
Yeah, I never met him before. I seen like a couple of his interviews, but I don't know.
That stood out to me when I heard that. I'm like, damn, there's probably not that many video guys out there keeping the gun on them.
Yeah, I mean,
even though in Chicago it seems like a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, you probably. Yeah, but I don't. That's one of the reasons I don't really see. Back then, I was like on autopilot. You know what I mean? So like these days, I'm a lot more self-aware. I love myself a lot more. So I don't really put myself in those type of situations.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
33. Okay,
Yeah.
so you got the old man wisdom at a certain point where you're like, damn, I don't want to die.
Yeah,
I want to make sure I'm alive for a long time. Like when you really, like when you're like 16, it's like, I ain't gonna die.
Yeah, and I've had nightmares about it. Like I've literally had nightmares of like me at a video shooting some crazy shit happening. You know what I'm saying? And then it got to a point too where it's just like I don't want to put that type of energy out in the world anymore either. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just really stay away from it. I ain't trying to be on no blocks. And then Chicago's like crazy, man. It's like unpredictable. I just don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then at the same time, it can happen anywhere. If it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. But
I mean, look where Lil Durk is at in his career. And last year he had 2 guys with guns run up in his fucking house in a gated community in Atlanta. Yeah, which I guess we never really heard the full story of why that happened. But that really like lets you know that you can make it in life, and it still could happen to anybody. Yeah, yeah,
for sure.
Does anything stand out about the Love Sosa video?
Yeah, I picked the record. I told him to shoot.
You know that was it.
I knew it. He had put a snippet on Facebook, and I heard the snippet, and I remember sharing it. Me and him hadn't spoken in a while. Like we did the every day, and we didn't speak for like 5-6 months. Right. And he posted that on Facebook. I reshared, and I was like, "Hey, this a hit." And he hit me up like a month or 2 later, just like random. Right. It was like, let's shoot a new video. And he picked me up. We actually shot the video in the same place we shot I Don't Like. And he wanted to shoot the song Finally Rich. And I guess he probably could tell I didn't want to do it, so like he ended up handing me his phone. He like, you pick a song. And I went straight to the L. Like,
you guys had a relationship like that? Like he trusted you to make that decision?
I think so, yeah. With that, I think he trusted me because so much stuff that I had did before had went up because, you know, I had the Midas touch, you know. I think he trusted me to pick the record.
But so by that point, he's like signed to Interscope and shit, right?
Yeah, he was signed. That was the first video that I did for him when he was signed to Love Sosa.
Right. And there wasn't any pressure on him to like, oh, you need to shoot this video with like a big name director with a big budget? Because that seems like a $0 budget video.
Nah, it was literally like how everything else went. He picked me up.
Right.
We shot the video. I put out the snippet, and we dropped it. It wasn't like I didn't talk to the label or nothing when we did Love Sosa. You know? So
from your perspective as a video guy, were you like trying to stay in the loop there so you could keep trying to shoot as many videos as possible, even with him blowing up? Or was your attitude not really like that so much?
I think that was the issue. Like I didn't want to be in the mix. That shit would like be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Going around, is like so many people, is too much going on. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have any real close relationships with these people for real. Like how people may think. Like I think I only met Keef like 10 times. You know what I'm saying? Like every time we linked, it was like to work. I never hung out with him. Like he was like a teenager and I was in my 20s, you know, so and I never really had a conversation with him. Like we just would link to work. So once I'm done working, I'm going back. But I'm hella introverted. I'm a homebody anyway, so either way it go, I wouldn't have had time to be hanging out with them anyway. I was on my own thing. You know?
Were you shooting videos for all the rest of Glow Gang at that time too?
Nah.
You didn't really do any videos for Fredo or Tato or anything?
I did one with it was a song with Keef, Fredo, and Lil Reese on it, and then I let Elevator Magazine drop the video. Oh wow! But that was my video. Right. Yeah.
Crazy. What about Durk? Like when? How many more videos did you do with him at that time?
The first video we did Sneak Dissing in 2011. Then we did I'm a Hitter, and I think we did like some like freestyle joints, like, you know what I'm saying. And then the next big one we did was the L's Anthem. Right. And then he got arrested after that, and when he got out of jail, we did the Right Here video. Then after that, like, we didn't really speak anymore after that for real.
Right. Yeah. You remind me of myself. Like, you fucking work with all these big ass artists, and then you just kind of like I fucking interview Lil Durk, and it's like, from like a music industry clout chasing perspective, you're supposed to like stay in touch with them and try to keep the relationship going and stuff. And I'm just like so not like that. Like we do business together, and then, you know, maybe we hit you up like a couple years later to do. I'm trying to be less like that, but it's just kind of how I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I wanted better relationships with these people, but everything just happened super fast. I feel like it was a lot of miscommunication. It was just a lot going on, bro. Like we all from the real life gutter, you know what I mean? And when all that stuff started happening, I don't think anybody knew what to do with that attention. Then you got everybody else coming in from everywhere else. Like, bro, it was a lot. It was a whole lot going on. I wish I would have had better relationships with them, but it just didn't happen that way.
But you started to be really in demand at that time too? You start working with a shitload more people, or?
Man, I always had my own vision. I just wanted to work with the dopest artists ever, the best music ever, and then I always had an issue with like speaking, like, you know what I'm saying, handling business and speaking and having it, because it was a lot, bro. I'm getting so many emails, I'm getting this, so I would put people in position to help me with that, and I would allow their visions to overshadow mine, if that makes sense. So it was a place in my career where it wasn't me and what I wanted to do. But it was my management, and they're booking me, and they just booking me whatever's gonna make some money, you know what I mean? Right. So for a couple years, it just became about the bread. I had more money than I ever had, but I was most unhappy I ever was. You know what I mean?
Because, okay, even if we just look at Chicago, there's been a bunch of influential video guys who've come out of Chicago over the years, and it's kind of up to you how you want to go about doing it, where, you know, the prime example of somebody just being extremely picky is Cole Bennett. He built an insane brand, super popular brand, off just being really, really picky about what artists he works with, so that like his channel is like a big cosign. You have somebody like AZ Productions who made a big ass mark and stuff, but he's kind of more somebody where like a fan or like an aspiring artist knows that if they get him to shoot the video, he'll put it on his channel, and that could be a good look for him. But that does make your brand not look as powerful, maybe, you know. Where do you see, what's like your mentality on that?
I mean, it was like that for a long time until I started focusing on my own stuff, where it's like I don't really even care to upload anybody music anymore.
But you're down to take jobs shooting shit, but you're not really trying to upload shit to your channel?
Yeah, I just put my own stuff. Unless it's if it makes sense, I will do it. If it's something I know is gonna be legendary and all that, like, hell yeah, I'll do it. You know, I'm not gonna be naive and be stubborn about it, but, you know, I'm not just uploading anything. Maybe it's just like I still have an attachment to it. But yeah, but that goes with work, period. I don't want to work with anybody if it don't, just because it's gonna make me some money. I want to have fun doing what I do, you know. Right,
definitely. I noticed that you started to shoot videos with Duck at a certain point, and that you shot videos with Billionaire Black and stuff. Was there a certain point where you were like, all right, like, I'm not really working with Chief Keef anymore, so it's cool for me to work with these guys, or was that much of a consideration?
I already knew these people, so, you know, I wasn't picking sides. I don't gang bang. I didn't even grow up in the same neighborhoods as them, so I feel like I didn't owe nobody no type of loyalty in that way, you know what I mean? And at that point, maybe it was a little like that, like, I'm glad it happened that way, because I didn't want to ever have to pick sides. And I feel like if I was dealing with them, I would have been pressured into. So I'm happy it turned out that way, because then I can say, like, I'm one of the only ones who worked with everybody and have all of them under the same umbrella and channel, you know. And Duck was a cool dude. Like, he always showed love. And I met him back in like 2010 or something like that, when he was about 15 or something.
It's crazy because you, as the video guy, you probably get to see a very human side of dudes who a lot of even their fans look at them as just savages. Like, they love them for talking about crazy ass street shit, and you get to see like a very human version of them, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was funny. Just like, you know, it was cool. Like, and the thing with me, I feel like these people had a certain respect for me, where when I came around, like, most of the issues that I know people have, I learned just like everybody else learned from YouTube. Like, they didn't speak about none of that stuff around me. I didn't even know anybody had any serious problems with each other. I ain't completely stupid to what's going on, but like, I have a song right now, it's my record, with Billionaire Black and Durk on it. Billionaire is Buck20, Vic Moan. I had Lil Durk and Billionaire in my basement recording music together. We was at the music garage together. So, like, when I shot I'm a Hitter, I had just shot a video with Billionaire Black. He dropped me off to Lil Durk at the gas station. They shook hands. We went and did the I'm a Hitter.
So it just wasn't serious like that at the time?
Yeah, I don't think it was that serious. You know what I mean? Like I said, I feel like it was a shift after the Lil Jojo thing.
Right.
Like, I remember when that happened, I broke my phone and I had to order a new phone. So I didn't have a phone for like 3 days, and I remember turning my phone back on, and I seen it, and I just sent chills through my body. I was like, I knew at that moment everything was finna change, you know?
And that was a wild time too, because even the way that Chief Keef tweeted about it after it happened, I feel like a lot of people who didn't really know much about Chicago, but kind of saw that tweet and realized what it was, and realized just sort of like how calloused certain people in Chicago were to death, especially the death of like a little kid.
Yeah.
That just like was a really eye-opening thing for a lot of people. Like, oh shit, like it's really like that out there.
Yeah. I don't know. It was, for me, when I first seen the Lil Jojo video, I was scared. I was like, shit, I don't want to run into these. Where they from? I ain't going over there. So when that happened, I just knew it was finna be a lot of hectic stuff happening at that point. I don't know. I ain't know what to anticipate, but I just knew it wasn't good. I didn't know him though. I never met him. I didn't know. I just knew it was a bad look, you know.
It's interesting though, because from your perspective as a person who does videos, it's kind of like you could have just got deeper and deeper into the street shit and shoot videos for everybody who's rapping about all this drill shit, whatever. But was that your mentality, or were you like, nah, I'm really trying to just be like a more overall director?
Yeah, I wanted to be like overall. I don't know. I feel like shooting the music and being around it sometimes was enticing, and it was cool, but because I grew up around it, so I wasn't never really ever really nervous about being around these people. Like,
and I mean that kind of music, like dissing people and dissing people's dead homies and shit, it's viral. Like, you know, people are gonna pay attention to it right away. But it's also like, is this the energy you want to necessarily surround yourself in the long term? I don't know. Like
I said, you can't pull up. It might be some subliminal disses in the videos I shot, but you can't really pull up no videos with me shooting them dissing dead homies. Like,
right.
I just never filmed it, you know. So, nobody really ever bought me that type of music.
So at some point, did you kind of like decide you wanted to fall back from making videos and focus more on your music, or what was the transformation like for you in that regard?
When I was going through like the bad management situation where I felt like, you know, he was ruining what I had going on, like my vision. And I can't even really put it on him. I got to take accountability. I should have been more vocal in the situation and took control. But once I felt like the video stuff wasn't working out the same way, I was like, all right, I need to go back to my first love. Because that's what I wanted to do anyway. And it was just like the pressure of all that. I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something different. You feel me? So I started pushing out my music, you know. And just going full force with that, you know.
How would you describe your music to somebody who's never heard it?
It's just me. Is what I go through. Is super transparent. It's just me. It come from the soul, for real.
Do you make music all the time, or is it more like it kind of comes and goes?
It comes and goes. I feel like recently in like the past year, I haven't been working on music as much as I used to. I ain't been really trying to find the same like passion again with it, but it comes and goes. Sometimes I have a year where I'm like, man, I'm finna focus on my music. I really want to do music. Then I hit a wall and I'm like, man, I want to do music videos again. So I start back shooting music videos, and then I be like, I get drained of that and be like, nope, trying to go back in my bubble and focus on me again. So it's like back and forth type of thing.
Do you produce much still?
I produce everything I put out.
Okay.
I produce it, I record it. I even shoot my own videos. I have somebody, I'll have somebody shoot it, or I put it on a tripod and figure it out myself.
Are you super tuned into all the stuff that's coming out of Chicago these days in terms of like new artists and everything?
I'm only familiar with like a couple of the new artists that's coming out of there.
Right. Anybody
like
stand out to you?
Yeah, actually, it's a funny story with the PGF Nook. Right, he has
my favorite current artist, probably.
Yeah, he has a song called Marlo Block.
Okay.
Yeah, Marlo is my little cousin.
Really?
He was 15. He got killed 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it was the first murder I ever experienced in my family.
Somebody that you really were close to like that?
I wasn't close with him.
Oh, in your family.
He was a kid, but he's like my little cousin. And you know, I remember going to the funeral, and I never seen my family like that. I ain't never seen one of my family members in a casket off of murder, and it's just crazy because that was the moment when I really decided I wasn't gonna put out drill music videos anymore. So I just felt like it was hella crazy that he was with those guys. Like,
but PGF Nook now blowing up, saying the craziest shit you ever heard on records.
Yeah, and I had ran into him.
5 million guns in the videos.
Yeah, I met him at I was at the United Center when Durk just performed, so I had met him for the first time. Yeah. Wow. So he stands out to me. It's I don't know. I ain't really too in tune with everything else. I don't try to consume too much of it.
Tap in with my boy Shoebox Baby.
Shoebox. I heard of him before. I ain't never.
He the new face of the O.
I ain't never listened to his music. I think I heard the song. When they was like dissing Young Boy. I think that's how I heard. Yeah, I think that's how I heard about him. But
He got the personality though. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
We had him on here.
But yeah, I don't too much be super tuned in with everybody. You know, I pretty much focus on myself for the most part.
But so you were backstage at the that big ass Durk concert.
Yeah,
So you stay tapped in with him like that a little bit.
With
Durk?
Nah, I went there with Katie. Katie got bands.
Oh really?
Yeah.
She has been capping about doing an interview for years now. Like I could show you my DMs and it's just her being like Adam, and I go yo, and then like 6 months later, Adam. And I'm like, yo. And then like a year later, Adam. Like, this is weird. Like, I would love to interview her. I've always fucked with her since the beginning. Maybe this will get her off
I'm
her ass.
responsible for the viral meme with Katie Got Banned.
Which one?
With her with the little gun.
Oh, I remember back in the day. I couldn't believe she had a gun in that video back then.
I produced that song, too. That was a song I produced. I shot the video.
Right.
Recorded the song.
That's when I was like, wow, Chicago is really going crazy.
Yeah,
This fucking young-ass girl got a gun in the video.
That was... Back then, it was hilarious. It's like now when I look at it, I'm like, it is kind of like crazy if you look at it from the outside. But
I had never seen a girl with a gun in the video before that, and especially she's like young as shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was. I didn't expect that to be like. I knew the song was hard, but I didn't know that would be the moment that would stand out from the music video. You know?
Right. But when you look like. Was there something about Durk playing a fucking 20,000 people or whatever in the middle of the city? Was there something about that kind of like just stood out to like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
This thing I was a part of, look how fucking big this is.
Yeah, I got to get on stage with him. You know, I chopped it up with her. You know, Lil Reese showed some love. Like, it was, I don't know, it was like surreal. It was just like watching my vision just like get expanded, and it's like, damn, bro, we was just in the basement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just slept on Durk couch and 20,000 people. It was crazy.
Crazy. I mean, we'll never get to see that with Sosa because he is not allowed in the city. Somehow
Monday,
Durk
man.
got through.
Yeah. I still feel like Keef is crazy. Like I feel like if Keef is more consistent, he can really, because he's still like everybody who comes out, even artists that ain't even got nothing to, I seen Doja Cat tweet like Keef is the best rapper. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just something about it. Like, he still run it like secretly. You know what I mean?
If you look at them two, like Durk and Sosa side by side, you kind of got to look at Durk like this real strategic dude who like figured out what people wanted and how to make great music and just kept working at it over and over the years to figure out how to really like crack the code. And he has a lot of talent, but then when you look at Sosa, is someone who is just so him that he just can't adapt or fit to anybody else's expectation of him. And so as a result, like the fans do love him for who he is, but he's, you know, he doesn't make music trying to make a hit. He doesn't make music that sounds like something that's going to go viral unless he just hits it accidentally. You know, he makes a finito and it's huge.
I think the Hadouken
you know?
was a really, he should do a video for that. That was, I think that was a really good song. Keef, I think Keef can really rap though. Like, he can really, really rap. But I think he just say like he don't care about music.
Yeah,
like,
he don't care about nothing. He's just in his own fucking world.
Yeah, but I be the same way sometimes, so I don't blame him. Like this, man, it could be draining. Then I can only look at it, when I look at it from his perspective, he been famous since he was 15, 16. So I can only imagine, you know, at some point, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I'd probably be tired. I didn't have my moments where I disappear and be tired of, you know, dealing with it. So
you're perfectly happy to just dip off and not be on the grind from
Man, I didn't went without a phone, like all types of stuff. I'll delete my Instagram and just be away from everybody. Like, it gets draining, man. Then you're around a lot of fake love, you know. Everybody wants something from you. You know, with me, it's always been difficult because I'm the person who everybody credits for making everybody famous, so I got to deal with that. Even now to this day, where people want to be around me because it's like, man, can you make me famous? You know what I mean? So even with girls, all type of stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Still getting director pussy?
Man, I'll be celibate, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Cause I'm trying to. I want to have a family eventually, so I'll be slowing down.
Right.
You know, I'll be trying to move a little bit more intentional. You feel me?
Stay away from the thoughts.
Yeah, I leave the thoughts alone nowadays. You feel me? So yeah, but I had crazy stuff with girls like back then. Like I had a girl sleep with me, then like pull out a contract to do her like free music videos. Like
Wow.
in like 2012.
That's
yeah.
bold.
My father, he seen like, man, what the hell? Like, he's not signing that. I had to kick her out, you know.
Holy shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But is there part of you that wants to like find an artist that you believe in and just do the videos, do the music, like just fucking work their whole career?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think I want to be an artist forever. Like, I enjoy helping build artists up. Like, that's just something that's why I did it. You know, I wanted to do my music, but I wouldn't have worked with all these artists if that wasn't something that was in me too. Like,
I mean, look at Bibby. Like, he just kind of recognized early on that, like, yeah, my music's cool and people like it, but I have more to offer if I could just be the guy discovering the talent.
Yeah, I want to do that, but I just haven't came across the right artist. If I come across the right artist, bro, I'm not putting out music no more. I feel like at some point it started feeling like I was putting out my music because it felt like I had to, like, to just be consistent and, you know, stay current and relevant. But yeah, if I get the right artist, I'm not really gonna be putting out music anymore.
You still stay in Chicago?
Yeah, I live in Chicago still.
Is that something you're thinking about changing, or are you committed?
No, I'm moving.
Yeah?
Yeah, Chicago.
Coming out here, or where are you going?
Yeah, I'm coming to LA
Okay.
for sure.
Nice.
But I'm gonna travel the world eventually, but my next stop is LA.
Have you traveled much so far?
Yeah, I've traveled a lot actually.
Okay.
I haven't been like to overseas like UK. I've been to South America, like shooting, but yeah, I haven't been over there.
Where'd you shoot down there?
In South America?
Yeah.
I did a music video in like Aruba, Dominican Republic,
Wow.
and I did like a documentary in Trinidad,
A documentary about what?
like the Trinidad music scene.
You made the whole documentary?
No, I did it with my boy Cyrus. He was working, I think, for like AOL or something at the time.
Oh, so it was like his project, and he brought you on to film?
Yeah, he flew me out to help him. I mean, we interviewed like Bangum Smurf.
Really?
Yeah, because you know he got like deported to Trinidad.
That was the dude who had beef with 50 back in the
Yeah,
day?
yeah.
He got deported to there?
Yeah, I think that's where he's like.
I
originally from.
haven't heard the name Bangum Smurf in so long. That's crazy.
Yeah, we was out in the hills. Like they wanted us to come up in the hills and like interview him and everything. And the locals were like, "Don't go up there."
Really?
Yeah, they were like, "Y'all gonna get robbed."
You had like a person to help you navigate these
Yeah,
situations? Because overseas, they'll
Yeah.
really take your shit out there.
Cyrus was already out there, like, you know, making friends and everything. So when I got there, I was straight. He met me at the airport with like 2 girls.
Wow.
Yeah, like we just got the ball rolling.
That's crazy.
So it was cool. It changed my life actually.
Damn.
It was super dope.
Just changed your outlook? Like,
Yeah.
made you realize how big the world was?
Yeah, it made me realize how good I actually had it, and how I wasn't really using my resources. You had these people really giving up their whole life to do music, and they don't even have half the resources that I have. You know, so it just made me be a little more grateful for what I had back home. You know.
Right. Do you have all your business and everything in order in terms of getting paid off of the shit that you produced back in the day and all that kind of stuff?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, back like in 2012, 2013, I started getting paid on YouTube in 2013.
Right.
I didn't even have like monetization when everything first started going up, and then like made a little bread, and then like the labels came through and like sweeped everything. So that
People are probably thinking like, damn, he gets so many views on his channel, but probably almost every big song is claimed, right?
Yeah. At this point, yeah, maybe everything. Yeah, so YouTube is a dude.
Still a big platform though, because if you found an artist that was dope that you wanted to pop off now and you put them on your channel, you wouldn't have to go to a No Jumper or a World Star or whoever. Like you could get a lot of eyeballs on them without much effort.
It just got to be the right person, and consistency gonna win.
Right.
You know, and if it's good, it's gonna work.
But they can't be smoking on somebody's uncle. You trying to avoid that?
100%. I never was with that, you know.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. So what do you want to achieve? Like when you think about your life now, what do you see yourself doing over the course of the next 10, 20 years? Like what's the goal?
Man, ultimately, it don't have anything to do with music. It's just about like starting a family and raising a family and being able to help my family build generational wealth. So whatever it takes to do that, that's what's gonna happen. But next 10, 20 years, that's where my mind is at.
How are you gonna start a family? You gonna get on Tinder or something?
Tinder don't work, man.
I mean, it definitely worked for me back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Not for getting married, but for getting some pussy, it worked.
It's something special about meeting somebody in person and having chemistry. So,
yeah. How do you meet them though? You go to the bar, go to church.
And church, I don't go to church, but you never know.
You want to meet a nice girl, you might want to go to church.
Might go to church, man. You will be surprised who up in church, man.
Really?
Church on Sunday, something else all through the
all these guys I do podcasts with are trying to tell me how religious they are. I'm like, you didn't even go to church, bro. Come on.
No, I ain't super religious. I believe in God though, but I ain't like all into that stuff.
Having a kid is the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, starting this business and like getting my business together in general is probably the best thing I ever did, but definitely the kid too. Like it was just fucking.
Yeah, eventually that's why I slowed down, because I done mess with some wild girls and I did not want to have kids with, you know.
That is a good point. Having a kid with the wrong girl is probably the biggest L you could take in life.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't be.
But I mean, you're moving slow in comparison to like don't Keef got like 6 kids, 8 kids. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Durk has 7 kids. He had that. He posted on his Instagram. He was like, "I want to see my kid." He had a list, so many goddamn names. I'm like, that's a lot of fucking children.
And back when I was messing with Durk, he only had like, when I first started working with Durk, he had a baby on the way with Nikki, and I was around when he had Angelo. But other than that, like I don't know how many kids Keef have though.
It stood out to me so much back in the day when Young Boy said 17 with 4 babies. And now he has like 7 or some shit. He has like way more than that now.
Hey, I got lucky though, because I was out here wilding too back then, you know.
You were? You were getting fucked up back in the day?
Like on what? Like
drugs and shit?
Nah.
No?
I never did.
You never did that?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I used to drink, but
you were just wilding with your ding-a-ling?
Yeah. Out here not wrapping it up, just getting it on. Cause you know back then it was like girls was really we was getting to it.
Wrapping it up is a big sacrifice. Shout out to everybody who's doing it, because I can't do it.
Yeah, that's why I had to slow down too. I ain't trying to be out here bogus and have a bunch of kids. You know, just start being like I said, more intentional with everything. You know, with every decision.
100%.
Yeah.
Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to tell the people at home?
Shout out to me,
the architect.
Yeah, shout out, because man, I done been through some things, and for me to be sitting here 10 years later, still getting able to tell my story, still living. Yeah, shout out to Chicago. Shout out to everybody I came up with.
It's crazy though, because your name still ring bells. Like Trev, our filmer who shoots music videos and stuff, he didn't realize it was you, and then I'm talking to the camera saying like, okay, we're doing the DGainz interview, and he's like, that's him. He like ran in here like, hey man, I fuck with you, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm finally get to like really put a face to the name, because a lot of people I didn't know who I was, like my face, but then I'll sit around somebody for an hour, then they'll be like, what's your name? I'm like, DGainz. And then the whole energy will change. So maybe that's like a conscious thing I do too, like, or subconscious, like, because I've seen people act different once they realize who I am. So I walk in like it's myself, introduce myself. I say, oh, I'm D. You feel me?
Right.
And then go from there.
Hey, they got to pay respect to the legend.
Yeah, legendary. We all legends.
Legendary shit. DGainz, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, much love, much respect. Everybody tap into his channel and everything he got going on.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, all that shit. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support. I'm reading each and every comment. So tap in down below.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.